And I'm going to do most of this on my handy dandy. Let me get rid of this and pull up that and this. So hopefully y'all can see this. I wish I could do something to get this bigger. Let's see if I can do this. Let me move this over. Let's see how small I can make this. Well, that's a little bit too small. Can y'all see that okay? I guess y'all can. And I'll make this a little bit bigger. How's that? Is that good? I guess y'all can see that. Where did that come from? Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. I'm having to fix a couple of things. I don't know why this thing's running so slow. Give me a second. There. Okay. So, first of all, let me do a question. Find the area probability percentage. That's the three things that you could put in this direction of being less than negative 0.47. Okay? Y'all tell me how the lag is, because when I say something, that means I usually write it down. So y'all tell me how much of a second lag we have after I do a few things, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my handy dandy curve. And since I don't have a mean and a standard deviation, and that's a clue, if I don't have a mean and a standard deviation, then it's going to be z-scores. -1, -2, -3. Go ahead and put my 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Now, this one gives us a z-score because it's 2 digits up there, and it says negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle this negative 0.47 in green. So that means I'm going to plot it in green. So negative 0.47, there's negative 0.5. So negative 0.47 would be right here. So at that point, it says what? Less than means left. So they want the area under the curve to the left of 0.47. Now, luckily, I don't do the tables anymore. Kind of like they phased out the tables in trigonometry. If you look in a trig book, there's tables in the back. Well, when I was in trig, we were making the transition from tables, and they were teaching us how to do it on a calculator. So now I don't even show the tables anymore. So over here, we're going to type in second vars. Did we go over this? Did I show y'all how to use the calculator, normal CDF?
Yeah, you did.
Thank you. So I'm going to go down to normal CDF. And don't forget that this arrowhead down here is called negative infinity, which is negative 9999. And this arrowhead up here is positive 9999. Okay? So we read from left to right. So it looks like to me my lower bound is going to be 9999 negative. And my upper bound is going to be negative 0.47. So I type in negative 9999. I can't use my keyboard on everything. And negative 0.47. And paste. You'll have to excuse me. And enter. Now, first of all, before we hit enter, I'm going to take my handy dandy peach and I'm going to we'll add this up and this up and this up using my empirical rule. Would y'all say that 0.47 is about halfway? Yes. A little bit more than halfway. So instead of saying 17, I'm going to say 18. Because it's a little bit more right here. It's a little bit more. So I'm going to say 18 instead of 17. So we know that this is 16. 16 plus 18 is what? 34 or 44? 16 plus 18. 34? That don't sound right. I guess it is. 16 plus 18 is 34, I think. So I think it's going to be around 34%. Now, I just did that by the empirical rule. Please don't gaff that off and say, oh, I don't need to do that. It'll help you out tremendously. So make sure 18 plus 16 is 34, I think it is. So I'm going to type it in, enter now. And they got, what the heck? Go to, I thought I typed in everything. Negative 9999, wait a minute. Negative 0.47. Okay, I'm going to go back and do it again. Second vars. If anybody sees what I'm doing wrong, let me know. It was working fine yesterday. Second vars. Normal CDF. Negative 9999. Did you do the minus symbol? I did this one. Negative 9999. I'll type in negative again. Negative 0.47. I might have hit the subtraction symbol. And paste. Let's try that. I think you were right. I think I hit the minus symbol. I used the key. I got to quit using the keyboard on the computer. That's what happened. 0.3192. So the actual area is 0.3192. And I said that it was going to be around 34%. So that's around 32%. So I'm about right. Now let's take our complement and somebody tell me what is above 0.47. So this would be 1 minus 0.3192, and the right side would be equal to 0.6908. I don't know. Somebody, thank you. 6808. Yeah, 6808. Thank you. So this would be 0.6808. Now, Hubert, you didn't ask that in the question. No, I didn't. I want you to realize that whenever they ask for the left side, an extra thing of practice would be for you to find the right side, because the right side may be asked in another homework question. Okay, so that's just a little extra practice. That is a test question. Now let's do another test question. Because I would say probably out of chapter 7 material, if I give you 10 questions, 7 of them are going to be like this. And then you might have a couple or 3 of the uniform. Make sure, has everybody got that? Just type in yes if everybody's got that page. Well, I guess everybody's got it. Okay, Ms. Colbishan, do you have it? Okay, well, I'm gonna move on. I don't mean to leave anybody out, but she must be going back to sleep. All right, next, let's do a nerd. Let's do what z-score is associated with the I'm thinking, let's go with 67th percentile. Okay, what z-score is associated with the 67th percentile? Zero, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Now I know that this is 50%. So if I know that's 50%, we want 67%. So I'm going to do this and we'll do 67 in green. Okay. So 67, I know that this is 33% or 33%. That's 11% in each one. We'll put one right there and one right there. So I got 11 here, 11 here, and 11 here. Well, 50 plus 11 is 61. Okay, half of 11 is 6, or 5.56. So what's 6 plus 61? 68. So I know a little bit less than half of this guy. Right there. All right, so I know that's a quarter, or these are thirds. So that's 0.33. This would be 0.66. Divide down from, I'm going to say 0.6. I'm going to say right at 0.6. Close. I don't know. Would be 0.6. Because there's a half right there. So it'd be like 0.4. So I think it's going to be around 0.40. Okay, that's what I think. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm trying the best I can. Let's see. Half of 17. 17 plus, oh, that'd be 67. So it would be 0.5. 0.5. Okay? So I just did half of 34 is 17, and 17 plus is 67, so that means this is a half. So I just did now I did the empirical rule The reason I did the empirical rule was to check my answer when I actually find it out. Now, how do you do this one? Now, I don't think I showed y'all this the other day, but if I did, then good. When you are given an area, like this is 0, 0. When you are given an area and you want to find the z-score, given area, and you want to find the z-score. Second, vars, inverse norm. Did I show you all that one the other day? I don't think I did. So, let's do that. I didn't think I did. But it's on the video for the, I think I covered it, yeah, I covered it with the 120-10 class yesterday. They're a little bit ahead because they're an hour and a half class, which Monday and Wednesday used to be an hour and a half class until Pendleton campus showed its butt and we had to go back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But anyway, let's go with second, vars. And there's inverse norm, number 3. Type it. And then, what is your area? Your area is 0.6700. Now, you don't have to type the zeros, but I type the zeros because you need to get used to area being 4 digits and z-scores being 2 digits. And I think I told y'all that's the way I teach. Okay? So, and of course you would change this if you had since I have a newer, and that's the second part of 7.2, if your mean and standard deviation is different, then your new calculators will adjust for that. Okay? And this will be a left tail because we want to know the area to the left. That's a kind of a default. Okay? Area to the left is a default because we read from left to right, negative 9999. We read from left to right, but we don't know what the z-score is. So you're telling, with the left tail test, you're telling, okay, the percentage is to the left of that line. And that's usually a default, okay, unless a different problem. And we'll get to that later, because I'm fixing to go into the different type question here in a second. And enter. And enter. 0.4399. 0.4 what? 0.4. I was right the first time. 0.44. So the actual is 0.44. That's your answer. I put 0.4 the first, so I was right. Z-score will always be more detailed than the empirical rule. The empirical rule is just for estimation, you know, just looking at it. And it's to check your answers to see if you're in the right area. The empirical rule is estimation. The Z-score is more detailed. Okay, y'all got that? How much of a lag do we have from my drawing to my voice? Anybody got an estimate?
It's about the same as it was last class, I think.
So how many? Is that about 5 seconds or what?
Yeah, it's like 3 to 5 seconds or something.
Well, I turned off my direct. I turned it off, so there's nothing leaching off of the only thing that's on the. I even turned my phone off network, off of wireless. There's nothing on my wireless except for this computer, so I thought that might help. All right, now here's the second type problem that you're going to have. The first type, what do you notice about these first two types? What do you notice about them? They have something in common. Can you tell me what they have in common? the mean is equal to 0 and the standard deviation is equal to 1, which means that you're on the z-scale. Everybody with me? Okay, this is the first part. Beside the uniform distribution, this is the first set of problems in chapter 7. Your mean is going to be equal to 0, and your standard deviation is going to be equal to 1, which puts you on the z-scale. That's what they have in common. Okay? So, what's the difference? Well, the next part, and these are the second questions you're going to have, is mean is equal to 100, and the standard deviation is equal to, we'll do 10 to make it easy. Now we got a different animal. I want to find the area or probability. I'm going to put area, probability, percentage above 142. Let's say these are IQ scores. Okay? Tell me how many people, how percentage of people are going to be an IQ test score above 142. Now, if you have a new calculator, a newer calculator, I would say in the last 2 years, okay? If you have a new calculator within the last 2 years, the calculator will do this for you and you won't have to do anything. If you have an old calculator, you're going to have to calculate. You're going to have to use the two formulas I gave you at the beginning of chapter 7. You're going to have to use z is equal to x minus x bar over the standard deviation, and you're going to have to use x is equal to oz plus mu. Okay? So if you've got a newer calculator, like this one I got, TI-84 plus CE, I don't even know what the CE stands for. Okay? But that's the one they gave me when I emailed TI. They gave me this link, and I went there and put in my email address, and they gave me this. So if you got an older calculator, then you're going to have to use these two formulas. So let's draw a picture. Hopefully y'all have gotten the Google and put it on word processor, because it's a pain drawing these things over and over and over, especially putting the empirical rule in there. 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. I say that's what you should have. Pull off of Google, put 2 or 3 or 4, however many way you want to do it on a word processor. Highlight, print it out, one page. Highlight the normal area. And I tell y'all this over and over because I want to make sure everybody does this before they, and that's normal, that's 95%, falls within 2 standard deviations. And the nickel rule is, what is 2.5 plus 2.5? That's a nickel, right? If your probability, and write this down if I haven't showed you, if your probability is less than 0.05, sorry, that means it's unusual. If your probability is above 0.05, that means it's normal. Okay, because then it feeds into the green area. Now, I don't know if I've showed y'all that before. I think I have this week. It's called the nickel rule. I call it the nickel rule. I don't think anybody ever calls it that. I just call it that. All right? So, anyway, make sure you highlight this. And then, after you've done that, and you have the Z-scale on it, and you have the percentages on it, whatever they don't put on it, you put on by hand, run you 10 or 12 copies of it so you don't have to write it every single time. All right, now, here is this information, and I'll do it in peach. 100, 110, 120, 130, 90, 80, 70. Okay, so that's that. Anytime you see mean and standard deviation, draw the damn curve. Okay? After that, then let's plot the point. I'm going to plot it. I'm going to color it in, what color have I not used yet? Let's go with that fluorescent orange. Fluorescent orange. That looks like peach. Well, I guess you can see it's fluorescent. 142. So I'm going to do 142. 142 is going to be right up here somewhere. And they want to know how many people score above a 142. Well, if I got an old calculator, I can't do 142. I got to change it into a what? A Z-score. So I got to change that minus 100 over standard deviation is 10. 142 minus 100 is 42 divided by 10, which is equal to 4.2. Okay? So my Z-score right here is 4.2. And remember, this is 9999. Left to right, if I want to find that area above 4.2, 142, I've got to go from 4.2 to 9999. So I pull up my handy dandy calculator and I do second, vars, and normal CDF, enter, and then I do 4.2 to 9999. You can put 15 nines in there if you want to. And then hit paste. Now, if you got a real old calculator, you got to type in parentheses. When you pull up normal CDF, it'll look like this. And you might have one parenthesis there, and you would type in 4.2, then hit comma. Comma is right there. Then hit 9999, comma, and then it should just close parentheses because it's already defaulted to 0 and 1. And hit enter. And I think I told you, wait a minute, I hadn't done that yet. So let's take our, I'm running out of colors. Let's take our, I don't know if that's a good color or not. It's kind of a turquoise. Okay, I'm going to take, we know this is 50%. We know that's 50%. We know that this is 84%. We know this is 16 plus 84 is 90, right? 16, no. Lord, that's equal to 100. Well, it's 98 point, or 99 point, what, 85? This would be, God, you talking about 0.001 or something like that. It's going to be very small, very small. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Yeah, 0.00001, 4 zeros, 13. So that orange area is equal to 0.00001. What is that? 3354. Dot dot dot. Now, if you have a new calculator, you type in second, bars, normal CDF, and then you just do 142, 9999, mu is 100. Oh, 100 and 10. And you should come up with the same answer. There it is, same answer. So if you got a newer calculator, you don't have to do as much work. So hopefully you understand that. Okay. Any questions on that? So that one lines up with the one we did like this. Okay. Only this one had a mean and standard deviation of 0 and 1. This one's got a mean deviation of 110. Okay, so let's do another one. I've got these papers all over the place. I bet each class, I bet I do at least 5 to 10 of these, and I've got papers over here. It's just a whole stack of papers, because I guess it's better than not doing it at all. All right, so here we go. We'll go ahead and draw the, well, you got a mean of 100, standard deviation of 20, standard deviation of 20. Let's say these are IQ scores again: 100, 120, 140, 160, negative, or 80, sorry, 80, 60, 40, 40, 60, 80, 120, okay. All right, and 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. All right, now the question's going to say, what score represents the 67th percentile? So that would be 0.6700. So of course, you know this is 50%. We know this is 67. I think we did this one a while ago. This is 67. So 67 would be right in here. Of course, I would get, what's that, 110. So I'm going to say approximately, by the empirical rule, 110. That's why I make the squiggle with the dot. So that's an estimate. I'd say the test score of 110 by the empirical rule is around the 67th percentile. Okay, so what do you need to do? Well, if you have a new calculator, you just type it in. You need the area. I mean, you're given the area, so you're going to use inverse norm. And the area is 0.6700. And the mean is 100. Standard deviation is 20. And again, it's reading to the left because that's normally what we do. Enter. and I think it's around 110. And it's 108.8 or 109. You would use 109. So the actual answer to P of the 67th percentile is not 110, but 109. 108.798 ... and you would say 109 because they're looking for a test score, not a bunch of decimals. So 109 is your 67th percentile. So anything above 109, you're in the top 33%. Anything less than 109, you're in the bottom 67%. Now, what do you do if you have an older calculator? Well, you have to turn 110 into a what? You have to turn it into a z-score. So I'm going to go over here in green, and I'm going to say 110 minus 100 over 20. 110 minus 100 is 10. 10 over 20 is equal to 0.5. So now I've got this as 0.5. So now I'm going to go from negative 9999. I'm sorry. I just screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different problem. Don't do that. Okay. You got to do inverse norm and get the z-score. I'm so sorry. So in this case, we've got to do inverse norm. I was thinking of another problem. Second bars. And with your new calculator, old calculator, you're not going to have the chance to type in. See, that 0 and 1 is there. So you have to type in 0.6700. And no, I did it. Did I do inverse norm? No, I didn't. I suck. Second bars, inverse norm. There it is. Why is it? Second bars, inverse norm. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Inverse norm is supposed to ask for your second quit, clear, second bars. Is that not inverse norm right there? Inverse norm. It's supposed to ask for your area. There. What the heck? All right, so 0.6700. And you're not going to be able, if you have an old calculator, you're not going to be able to change that 0 and 1. So you hit paste, and it's going to give you a z-score. And enter. It's going to be around 0.5. 0.4399. So write that down. So your z-score at this point is 0.4399, which is 0.44. So you've got your z-score. So now x is equal to oz plus mu. So what is your standard deviation? Your standard deviation is 20. Your oz, your z, is 0.44 plus 100. So you take your handy dandy calculator and you do 20 times 0.44 plus 100. Whatever. It's 108.8. So 108.8 will round to what? 109. Okay? So that's how you find, and that's basically the 4 type questions you're going to have in chapter 7. All right, let me summarize. So let me leave that up for a second in case you didn't get it. There's 5 questions you're going to get in chapter 7. Let me check my time before y'all not going to convulse. I hope y'all at home. So let's see. I got 1 minute. All right, so here we go. The 7 type questions you're going to have or the 5 you're going to have uniform. Probably talking about 2 questions. 1/60th, and this is 60. 0 to 60. Probably going to have 2 questions. This is chapter 7. 2. Mu is equal to 0. Standard deviation is equal to 1. You're going to have 2 type questions here. You're going to have one that gives you a z-score, and you find the area, or they're going to give you the area and you find the what? Z-score. And that is inverse norm. Inverse norm. And this is normal CDF. And then the 3rd type question will be mu is equal to some number other than 0. M is not equal to 0, and standard deviation is not equal to 1. So that, in case 100, 20, like we just did. Okay? They're going to give you a test score, not a z-score, but a test score, like 140, and you find the area. And then they give you an area or a percentile, and you find the test score. Now we just did, and that's the inverse norm. It's the same thing, the same as this. This is chapter 7. Now, there will be some questions that you're going to send me. I've already got some homework questions to go over for Monday and Tuesday's 120 class. I would highly suggest when I go over 120 Monday and Tuesday, and I put those videos up, that you look at those homework questions, because those homework questions are going to be your chapter 7 test as far as the chapter 7 part. Okay? Who's got questions? All right. Well, I'm going to turn off the recording, and y'all have a good weekend, and y'all can finish chapter 6 and 7 now and send in homework questions. Okay? Y'all can talk now. All right. Y'all be good and have a good day.